generations. And now, the power of two restores the one.
We got a bidet. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are doing our very first movie discussion of 2024. Night Swim came out this weekend, and so we went ahead and saw it. As you may know, we love horror movies, so uh, this could potentially be a great start to the year, or it could be a bad start to the year. Who knows? Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you our non-spoiler opinions for the first 10 minutes or so, and then we'll go ahead and get into some of the spoilers for the movie. So I guess I'll kind of go ahead and give my 2 cents first. Um, Going into the movie, I didn't know what to expect. I've seen the poster at the theater plenty of times. You know, I saw the trailer and it kind of seemed like some sort of haunted swimming pool. And I really didn't know what they could do with that. And so I just kind of went into the movie open-minded. And I would say that it just wasn't a very good movie to me. I would say it didn't hold my attention very well. You could kind of see where the movie was going from a mile away. Once it started to get rolling, uh, I just thought it was kind of a cookie cutter horror film. I mean, it was rated PG-13. I think they're trying to maybe draw in the school kids before they go back to school after the holiday break or something, or maybe it's the first week after the holiday break and they want something to go do to, unwind, and this is it. So I think they're kind of trying to capitalize on that first week of January. What did you think, Sarah?
You're crazy.
Crazy.
I liked the film. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but I wouldn't say it was cookie cutter either because I felt like it took a lot of different elements from different horror movies. Like I was getting some vibes from It. I was getting some vibes from American Horror Story. This creature right here is nasty. So, I feel like they had interesting looking creatures. And there was a lot of the time where I was either creeped out or like suspenseful, like you think something's going to happen and it may or may not, depending on what the scene is, but um I felt the suspense and so I thought it was a good movie.
Um, for some reason, I thought James Wan was attached to this, but he's not. So, good on that because I didn't want it to be part of his record. But I was also getting some vibes of other horror movies. I think, like you said, I think we see in the trailer the whole thing about the drain. When the kid or whoever like reaches into the drain for something, kind of like Georgie with the sewer. And then just from watching the movie, I kind of got the sense that it felt like Amityville, but instead of the house being haunted, it was the swimming pool in a way. So just with the
What's the film series with the further?
Insidious.
So there's kind of some vibes of that too, I think.
See, that's another reason why I thought James Wan was attached to this because he's in charge of that series as well. But no, not quite. The guy that I think he wrote and directed this film, he directed it and then he was a co-writer was Bryce McGuire. The other writer was Rod Blackhurst. Um, I think you said it was a book.
I saw a book called The Night Swim. I did not look to see if this was actually based on that, but I had the exact same title because it comes up when you Google it.
Gotcha. So maybe it was a book first, maybe not. Um, trying to think of what other non-spoiler things we can really say. I mean, I guess we can kind of go over, what is the family situation, like I mean it's a family buying a new house. Um they aren't aware of what's going on, and they have their own family struggles, just like any other horror movie. Like I said, relatable to Amityville, where like the dad is kind of, stressed out and dealing with things. But then they kind of, pick up that this pool is special. And it's interesting because it seems great at first, but then of course we learn later it's not so great. We'll save that part for the spoiler section. So I don't know. I feel like
You want to dive into ratings?
yeah, but oh, nice, nice. I would just say it wasn't super unique. That's just my opinion. But yeah, we can go into ratings. Do you want to go first?
Sure, because I know you're gonna poo all over it. I'm feeling like an 8. I don't feel like it was perfect or like a fantastic movie, but it made me feel the suspense and it made me feel creeped out, and I felt like it was because it wasn't just a direct copy of one film. I got vibes from a lot of different horror films. It didn't feel so cookie cutter to me. So I'm sitting at an 8. I liked it. I would watch it again.
I'm sitting at a 3. I think this
Woohoo!
movie was a kind of below average just because I don't really think it sets itself apart from really any other films. Like I said, I think it's honestly more geared towards trying to get some of those younger generation dollars, just because it's a PG-13 horror film I can go to. I'm gonna go cash in on that kind of a thing with my friends, which honestly I didn't see very many younger people in our theater. It seemed like a whole bunch of people our age. um, but like I said, I kind of felt like once the movie was going, I was like, okay, that means we're gonna get this next, and then we're gonna get this next. And really, there was only one thing in the movie that I thought was kind of a plot twisty situation. Um, but let's just go right into spoilers, I guess. So we got Sarah's 8 out of 10. You got my 3 out of 10. We are definitely far apart on this one, but we are gonna get into some spoilers here right now. The movie kicks off with a scene with a little girl, doing this little night swim. I think she sees like a toy boat or something in the pool, and she's going out there to go check it out. This girl's name is Rebecca. And when she goes out to the pool and she goes to, jump in and grab the toy, she thinks that she sees, I believe, her mother at the foot of the pool. And when she goes to go see her mother, it's not her mom. And then she gets, pulled in and then kind of goes missing. Um, we're led to believe that she's drowned, but as far as the people in the movie, they believe that she's just missing. So I think they said, was it like 15 years later or something like that? It was a little while later.
Something like that. The pool hadn't been used in 15 years.
Yeah, so I guess that's where I got it from. Then we have our new family, the one that we're focusing on. They are looking for a new house. They're seeing a couple of different ones, and then when they finally get to this one, they realize, the dad, he is kind of recovering from an illness or something, or he used to be a
He he was a Major League Baseball player who got diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. So he's basically becoming more and more fragile and not able to do physical things. Like he's walking with a cane. They're wanting to put up rails in the bathroom and stuff to help him, be able to shower and stuff like that.
Right. And one of the physical therapy things that they recommended was swimming. And so they thought, well, this is the perfect place to do it then because there's a pool. I can do physical therapy and the kids can have fun with the pool. It's great. And so they, buy the house, they get the pool, they clean the pool because the pool was disgusting. And then as the dad is kind of doing his physical therapy, he's starting to notice that he's feeling really good. Like there's this very quick turnaround for his condition where he's doing very well. Um,
It's like he's magically all better.
right. Well, like progressively getting very much better. His son is getting into baseball, which, of course, like Sarah said, the dad was a Major League Baseball player, so he's going to practice, and we can see that, he takes a swing and absolutely smashes one of the baseballs, so he is, seen to be getting better. Uh, but basically, what's going on here is that there is something weird in the pool. There's like this essence or being that is down there, and it's identified with like black murky water. One of the things that is odd about this pool is that the water comes from uh what do you call that?
It's a
Tap water.
naturally spring-fed pool.
Yeah. And so it's a little bit different, and uh they're learning all this from the people that are trying to, clean the pool and whatnot. Um, but basically, they decide to eventually have like a get together at their house so they can meet the neighbors. And this is where we really start to see some of the bad stuff start to affect the family. The dad is he asks the other coach's son if he wants to go and play chicken with this other dude and a kid in the pool. And while they're doing that, when the dad goes underwater, the dad being the main family of the house, this like murky black water goes up through his nose, and we can see that there's like a physical appearance that it is taking over him. And so uh that's where kind of like that Amityville twist happens, where like the dad is now affected by this evil thing, um to the point where it seems like he's trying to drown the other coach's son. And so that son's father jumps in the pool, saves him, and they're like, okay, something is definitely wrong here, something is going on. And so the mom decides to start doing some investigating. She talks to the realtor saying, "Hey, what about this like Rebecca girl?" And the realtor never told her that there was a girl named Rebecca that went missing from this house. And then the mom started doing some of her own research and found out there were tons of people that were going missing from this house. And so she decides to go and talk to the previous owners. And so she goes to their house, which now they have a phenomenal looking house. Like it is money. And so she goes in there. The mom is now old enough to the point where she like needs an oxygen tank to function every day. And she, walks I'm gonna get her name here really quick. Um, The mom's name is Eve from our main family, and Kay is the name of the mother that used to live there. So Eve and Kay go into the house and they sit down, and Eve is talking to Kay about, what's been happening in the house and asking about, what happened to your daughter? Because when Kay is talking to Eve about this stuff, Kay is talking about how awesome her son is, and she doesn't really talk about her daughter at all. Doesn't mention her, like she never existed. And so it comes up that Kay's daughter was actually sacrificed. The pool, when it gets its water, from the local watering hole, that water area used to be like this spring that would heal somebody for the cost of another. And so we find out that uh, Kay's son was not doing well. Like we don't see him in the beginning of the movie. We only see the daughter's point of view.
Oh,
But
you saw him.
we did?
Oh yeah, he was in a bed with like an oxygen tube and stuff, and it was very much like Georgie. I'm gonna go get your boat because you're sick.
Oh, I didn't catch that. But anyway, so uh he's not doing so well, and basically the mom decides to trade her daughter to have her son get better. And so that's when our mom, Eve, realizes, oh, my husband's getting better, so, somebody has to be sacrificed, and I don't want it to be any of my family members. So she heads back to the house. It's like the nighttime. You can kind of tell that this is probably going to be like the finale of the film at this point. So she heads home, and the son is messing around with the pool. He goes under the water, and the pool cover starts to uh, begin to cover up the pool, trying to trap him inside. The mom goes outside. The daughter is inside as well. One of them puts like a glass of water on the counter, and then it like moves itself over and crashes on the ground so that there is shattered glass on the ground with water. Because when the mom goes out to the pool, her and the daughter are trying to like crank the pool cover thing to go the opposite direction so that the son can get out of the pool. And the mom is basically like, forget about that. I'm just going to go in and try to save him. And the daughter goes inside to try to go and see if she can find her dad for help. And when the daughter goes inside, she slips on that water from the glass that broke and then like punctures a shard of glass into her hand. So she's horrified by that. And we see her, pull the glass out of her hand. But when she finally finds her dad,
Well, she's trying to call for help, but he knocks the phone out of her hand.
right, but we can see like the visual on his face of like that blackish water stuff affecting him. So he's like quote unquote possessed, by whatever the pool demon is.
Trying to protect that sacrifice.
Right. Let alone trying to get a sacrifice. So the dad and the daughter are kind of doing their own thing inside. The mom is swimming in the water, and this is where you kind of have your suspension of disbelief because she's under the water forever. But she has to dive down, 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 like way down to go
Well,
and
she had the hose she was using for air
yeah,
at
and
one point.
she went even further than that. Which I thought was a clever idea. I was like, dang, I want to try that someday. But she goes way down. She finally finds her son, and this is kind of like where in my opinion, the Insidious type parallels are because it appeared to be all the other victims that had been sacrificed to the pool water were down there, and they were trying to like stop the mom from taking the kid and stuff. But the daughter Rebecca that died in the beginning of the movie, she ends up helping them get out of the pool. So they're able to get away from all those crazy people and they go up to the surface. Um, they're trying to recover the boy. The boy is doing a little bit better, but they really got to get him to the hospital because he can't just like make it into the house for some reason. Like they don't, it's questionable, like what's going on kind of a thing.
The dad is trying to attack the mom. The daughter hits him with a baseball bat, and he kind of comes to enough that he recognizes that the kid needs help, right? So
Mhm.
they're trying to get the kid to the house, that way they can get him in the car to the hospital. But much like the dad earlier in the film, as he gets further from the pool, he's becoming more and more violently ill, like trying to throw up essentially. Like he's really not doing good. And so the dad is recognizing that the pool needs a sacrifice. And that's when the dad basically goes to the pool and he sacrifices himself for the kid to be okay.
Right. And so the deed is done, like the sacrifice has been taken care of. So we kind of get like the next day where the mom and the two kids are standing there over the pool and they're contemplating moving and they're like, but if we move, that means the next family that comes in will have to deal with this. And so they decide to stay at that house and fill in the pool with dirt. so that they, the no one can have another night swim, so to speak. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. They're really, correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't any like cliffhanger type things, right?
Not that I saw, no.
I didn't think so. So yeah, that was the movie. I thought it was a little weird that I felt like the family didn't seem as remorseful as I thought they would when, like, at the ending scene of thinking that the dad was dead. They just kind of seemed like, oh, dad's dead. I guess we just get to move on, kind of a thing. Um,
You
I
mean when
thought,
they're filling in the pool?
yeah,
I mean, I guess I assumed that was like a couple months later.
couple months.
That's what it seemed like.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it seemed kind of like maybe then a day or two, but. I mean, what it also makes me wonder, what do you do? Like, do you just report him missing? Do you say that he's dead? People are going to start asking questions like grandpa and grandma, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too far into it.
They don't exist, Jeremy.
Apparently, apparently. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of like a other people may have done the overall idea a little bit better, but it was okay. It was all right.
The
Slightly
only
below.
thing I'm going to add is that there were several taunting scenes where the pool was like taunting the mom or either of the two kids, all three of them, anybody but the dad, essentially. Even the cat at one point gets taunted, just seeing things, hearing voices that you recognize, but looking and there's nobody there. Um, at one point, the kid's playing the game where you fling quarters into the pool to try to get the quarters. And he thinks his dad is the one who's putting him in the deep end when he was told to stay in the shallow end, and the dad's not even around. So some entity, right, was trying to get the quarters in the deep end. That way the kid would be in the deep end and either get him in trouble or maybe even try to drown him right then and there. So there's a lot of suspenseful moments that we didn't necessarily cover that, because you don't want to cover the whole entire movie, but
Yeah, I just didn't see that they played much into the overall story. Like, of course,
But
it
but
builds.
they added to the horror element, and so I wanted to
They
point it
did.
out because that's part of my rating.
They did, but I felt like they were. I don't know how it would have been done better, but it felt kind of almost like the jump scare gimmicky type thing. I don't know. When I think about PG-13 horror movies, they can be very good or they can be very eh. And I thought this was kind of on the eh side of things, unfortunately. It wasn't Insidious, needless to say. Anything else you want to say about the movie?
No, I think that about wraps it up. I
It's
would
a
recommend seeing it.
it's a decent streaming movie. I kind of feel like it should have been more or less like just put on HBO Max or Netflix or something. But apparently it had enough momentum where they, wanted to put it out to theaters. And horror movies make dirty money, so I can definitely see how this is going to make some good money. All right. Well, that was our first movie discussion of the year. There's tons of movies that we saw previews for that Sarah was like, we got to see that and we got to see that. So we got lots of future movie discussions coming for you. And the way that you can make sure that you are alerted is to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you are notified when those videos drop. Drops a like if you like the video and drops a comment letting us know your thoughts on Night Swim. And then, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.